Hey guys, so I had a lot of questions on individual numbered questions on Prime Checker. So I'm just going to go ahead and blow through all of these, showing you how to make with loops. A lot of times these can just be copy pasted because they're all doing the same thing. They're all printing. So you'll see me make very little adjustments between each one, but as long as you can keep track of what you're doing, it's all fits the same formula. So first one we've got right here, zoom in so y'all can see these. I just copy pasted the instructions in. I do have a scanner because one of them at the end has a need for it. We've got our skeleton otherwise, and here we go. So number one, print the numbers 1 through 9 with no spaces. Okay, well, I need a loop. You can do these with a for loop, a while loop. I'll use whichever one strikes my fancy at the time. Because I know exactly how many times it's going to go, for loop works for me. So I start at 1, I is less than 10, I plus plus. There we go. Dot out, dot print. And inside there, I'm just printing I. That's the end of the loop. And then I need a spacer line, because otherwise it's going to all be on the same thing. Okay. End of there. I'll just add another spacer line. There you go. So 2 spaces, and then it'll spit out the next one. That's the basic formula. So here's where it starts. Here's where it stops, less than 10. I could also change this because I know some of you like using the equals. You could have just done that. All in the same, okay? Do a quick burn or test. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay? So now I go through and I make the next one. So this one, exact same situation, only this time it has spaces. So I do I, and then I concatenate with a space. Okay? There you go. And it just builds each time. Okay? Now I go under here. Okay, this one, I'm starting at 2. I'm going up by 2. So that's plus equal to. And I'm less than equal to 20. Same thing, I've got a space in between. And I think that will do it. Oh, I forgot to put the space back. My bad. Okay, everything else looks good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, number 4, 20 to 25 with spaces in between. Put the space back while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so it's still just going up by 1, so I just change my limits. Starts at 20, ends at 25, and right there. Oh, oops. That fingered an extra quotation, but that is correct. There. And run it real fast just to make sure. There we go. All right, number 5. Same situation. I'm just manipulating things. So this time I'm starting at 10. I'm stopping at 80. And this time I'm going up by 10. I still have a space in between, and done. Yep, there we go. Okay. How is that working? Okay, number 8. Get a value for an. Oh. Yeah, sorry, we're 7. Write a code for the for loop and a loop variable to introduce the following output. Okay, so this has got a couple of options. I can start at 0 and greater than equal to -10, and I can subtract each time. Yeah, that works. There you go. Okay, so for the next one, number 8, this time I'm doing the same thing. I'm just printing an asterisk instead of the number. This one had a lot of requests. I'm not sure why, but so I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 asterisks. So I start at 0, and I'm less than 11. And down here, instead of putting I just put an asterisk and a space in the string. That's all it takes. Oh, I took out the... There you go. So there's 11 asterisks. Okay. Number 9, write code for the following. Okay, so here's one of the ones that also, here's another one that had a lot of requests. So this is the pattern that a lot of people had trouble identifying, but we said it a few times in class. This is the perfect squares. What's 1 squared? 1. What's 2 squared? 4. 3 squared? 9. 4 squared? 16, and so forth. So that's all it's actually doing. So one of the easiest ways to do it is just, actually that works right there, but I'll go back to the equals to make it easier. Okay, so I'm printing 1 through 10, and when I get to it, what I'll do is I'll do extra parenthesis because math is being done. I times I, and then I'll concatenate a space with it. There you go. Now I'm also going to show you, since we just actually taught the math methods, you can also do it the other way too. Math.cow, parenthesis I, comma 2, and that will give us the same combination. No, not 1, I. But again, this time I get doubles because that's what POW returns. It returns a double variable. So if I want to make sure it does not give me that decimal, I cast it as an integer. There you go. Okay, this one, another one had a lot of, number 10 also had a lot of the other ones. This one was a little tricky because you had to think outside of the box. So what's going on here is every time we hit a multiple of 3, instead of putting a number, I put a question mark. Okay? So I'm going to fix this by just adding 2 lines. Maybe 3. But, so I'm starting at 1. I'm ending what would be 9, so less than 10 is fine. I'm adding my value I and a concatenate right there. All right, now what makes this special is I need to have an if statement because something is happening if a condition is met. So if I mod 3 is 0, if I is a multiple of 3, then instead of printing the number, then I print the question mark. Else it's not, then I print my normal print statement. There I go. Last but not least is 11. To get the integer of a value from the keyboard, write code using a for loop to print the value of factorials. We talked about it in class. Factorial is just where you multiply every number up to and including that integer. So 7 factorial would be 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7, and so forth. Now, because these go up very fast, I've asked you to keep it under 12. That can be simplified in just our print statement or our prompt for the user. We don't have to plug in a full check if we don't want to. And since I've already done quite a few problems on this one, I'll just simplify this. So we do need a prompt. How about okay. Enter an integer. Less than equal to 12. There's that. Now this is where our loop is going to be controlled. So we're going to start at 1. We're going to be less than and include num. We're going to go up by 1. But we also need to have an accumulator. So I'm just going to let this be our product, because that's what's happening. We're multiplying everything. And since we're multiplying, I'm going to start my value at 1 instead of my normal 0. Okay. Once I'm in here, product times equal I. And that's going to run all the way through it. And then I print in here. I need to grab num. Factorial is equal to product. Okay. So if they give us 1 to test, they give us 2 to test, so 7 and 10. Okay, so let's go 7 first. 50, 40, good. This time I'll go 10. 362,880. There you go. So lots of quick questions answered, but they're all very much the same. It just tweaking very specifics for the problem. Hope you can find the bit of the code that you need. I may try to put some timestamps on here so you can check. But other than that, y'all have a good one, and thank you.